Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Tevaron here, and welcome to another episode of Friday Night Magic. Right off the bat, before we get into the actual deck and gameplay that we're going to be doing today, I'd like to give a shout out to Infamous Gemini. Some of you may remember, if you watched the video from 2 weeks ago on the Geist Ramp deck, that I shouted out Spawn Shoddy and Covert Go Blue as who I got the decks from. Actually, I got it from Spawn Shoddy, who mentioned Covert Go Blue. After the fact of that, I found out that Infamous Gemini was actually the one who came up with the original idea and posted it on the forums. I believe the No Goblins Allowed forums. I'm not for sure about that, as I haven't gone and read the forums in several months myself, but I told him that I would credit him, and I did. I put it in the description as well as annotations on the video, but I'd like to give a vocal credit where it is due there. So thanks very much, Infamous Gemini, for coming up with the original idea for that deck. I've had a lot of fun playing it and play it quite a lot off camera in my own time. However, today we're going to be looking at Reanimator. This is not what I would call a great deck. It is, in my opinion, a ton of fun type deck. We'll go through the deck list here. We're running 3 Sinister Concoction, which is an enchantment that you pay a black, pay a life, put the top card of your library into your graveyard, discard a card, and sacrifice Sinister Concoction to destroy a creature. Now, that can sound like a lot of things that you're paying there, but I don't actually view paying 1 life and milling yourself for 1 as much of a cost. Plus, it puts things into our graveyard so that we can reanimate them. It's a very good discard outlet, as well as fueling Delirium, as it's an enchantment and puts a lot of spells into the graveyard. Now, we're only running 1 Delirium card, which, as you may have guessed, is my favorite Delirium card on Magic Duels, is Mindwrack Demon. We're also running 1 dead weight to give us another enchantment that can go into the graveyard, and as removal, 1 black, enchant a creature, and it gets -2/-2. 3 Grasp of Darkness, creature kill there. 2 Scatter to the Winds to counter spells we can't otherwise deal with. 1 Broken Concentration, counter spell, also the same reason. We're running 4 Catalog, which is our best discard outlet in this deck. For 2 and a blue, we can draw 2 cards and discard a card at instant speed. 1 Mindwrack Demon, flying, trample. It mills us for 4 when it enters the battlefield, and unless we have Delirium, it does 4 damage or life loss to us during our upkeep, but a 4/5 flying trample for 4 is pretty good, even as a reanimation target. Kalitas, 2 and 2 black for a 3/4 lifelinker, who can generate us 2/2 black zombie creature tokens if we can kill our opponent's non-token creatures, and can grow by sacrificing zombies or vampires. 2 Languish, because if we want to have any hope of surviving mono-white humans and the other aggro decks on here, we probably should be sweeping the board at some point. 1 Guardian of Tazeem, 5 mana for a 4/5, flying, and its landfall trigger says, when a landfall enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature an opponent controls. If the land is an island, that creature skips its next untap phase. We're running 1 Gilt-Leaf Winnower, a 5 mana 4/3 with Menace that can destroy a non-elf whose power and toughness are not equal when it enters the battlefield, so it's a threat plus removal. 3 Necromantic Summons, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, can be the opponent's graveyard as well if there's something in there we'd rather animate, and if we have Spell Mastery, it gets 2 +1/+1 counters. Jace, Unraveler Secrets, as card draw and board control bouncing creatures. Also, the emblem can be really good, especially versus a deck that is also running counterspells. 1 Ob Nixilis Reignited, also as card draw and board control. 2 Drowner of Hope, 6 mana 5/5 that gets 2 1/1 Eldrazi Scion tokens when it enters play, and you can sacrifice a Scion to tap target creature. Very good defense and offense. 1 Kothophed, Soul Hoarder. It's a 6/6 flyer for 6. When a permanent owned by another player is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, we draw a card and we lose 1 life. Now we have to be very careful with this card if we're at low life and kill a bunch of the opponent's creatures, or they're able to sack them, because they can just outright drain us out and kill us, making us lose life and draw cards. 1 Sire of Stagnation, 6 mana for a 5/7 that says whenever a land enters the battlefield under the opponent's control, that player exiles the top 2 cards of his or her library, and we draw 2 cards. 2 Ever After, 6 mana to return up to 2 target creature cards from our graveyard to the battlefield. Each of those creatures is black and a zombie, in addition to its other colors and types, and put Ever After on the bottom of its owner's library. Now, it's worth noting that we can't animate the opponent's creatures with this, but I think paying 1 more mana to get 2 creatures back from our graveyard is more than worth the lack of versatility. 1 Alhammarret, High Arbiter, 7 mana for a 5/5 flyer. When it enters play, we get to look at our opponent's hand, choose a non-land card from in their hand, and they can't cast spells with that name as long as Alhammarret is in play. 1 Breaker of Armies, an 8 mana 10/8 that forces all creatures able to block it to block it. Good to clear the board and make way to actually win the game. And of course, Uladaddy, the Ceaseless Hunger. Worth noting with him that if we do reanimate him from the graveyard, then we do not get the 2 exiled permanents, as that is only on cast, but he is indestructible and will still exile the top 20 cards of our opponent's library when we attack. I have found out since the last video that I played Ulamog in that he does work correctly. If you attack an opponent's planeswalker with him, he still does do the 20 card exile as he should. I had thought that he didn't work correctly, but he does. As many bugs as they have got in the Magic Duels game, I think it's worth giving credit when they actually do get something right. The land base is 7 islands, 9 swamps, 2 Sunken Hollow, 2 Drowned Catacombs, 4 Evolving Wilds, and 2 Submerged Boneyards. That's enough talking about cards and choices. I think it's time that we actually play a few games. Alright, this is a very keepable hand. We have removal, and hopefully we can get some card draw as well. The removal should hopefully allow us to hang in the game until we can get there, although it looks like we are playing against some version of humans, perhaps mono-white, perhaps splashing a color or 2. So we shall be leading off with Sinister Concoction, I think. Then next turn we can fetch for our 2nd black if we don't draw another, so that we can Grasp of Darkness but still use the Sinister Concoction to kind of stem the tide of creatures coming at our face. We will definitely be killing that Consul's Lieutenant, I think. Going to 18 here. This game is going to be a struggle to remain above 0 life. Alright, well, we got a reanimation spell. That's good. I think we will go ahead and fetch first. We will get a swamp, confirm. We're going to pause, and we're going to go ahead and do this Sinister Concoction to kill the Lieutenant, and we'll be discarding the Drowner. That way it's available in our graveyard if we manage to live until we have 5 mana, and can reanimate it with Necromantic Summons. What else did we mill? Well, we milled a land. That's not great, but something I'm willing to suffer through. And our opponent is getting a really good start here. I would love to see both a 4th land and a Languish. So we will probably be killing one of these expedition envoys here. The Thalia's Lieutenant has the potential to get bigger, but they are the large threats at the moment. Luckily, we did draw a 4th land there. So we are going to just wait a little bit. See if there's any chance that they're running auras that we could get a 2-for-1 with our Grasp of Darkness. Well, there's an Always Watching, so there's nothing really I can do about that. We're going to go ahead and Grasp of Darkness one of these Expedition Envoys here. At least take away 4 damage. We're going to be taking 6, though. The opponent is down to 1 card, and okay, I was about to say, I don't know why they're not attacking with the Thalia's Lieutenant, but I would have been happy if they didn't. So, we have Delirium already, which is good. Oh, but even better is just going ahead and Languishing. So, I asked for a land followed by a Languish, and by George, I got it. Thank you very much, RNGesus. Alright, well, the opponent still has a little bit of gas in their tank, it seems. Hopefully we can stabilize here at 8 life. Looks like I am just going to go ahead and be playing Mindwrack Demon here. Hopefully we are not going to get Declaration and Stoned. Looks like we put 4 lands in the graveyard. That was not great either. Trying to hit 5 and 6 land for our reanimation spells here. We are running 26 land in this deck, so we should get there eventually. Even through milling so many of our mana. Looks like the opponent doesn't have removal. That is great for us. Wait here while Mindwrack checks whether it's going to damage us or not. There we go. There's land number 5. And we will go ahead and swing first. Not that I think it makes much difference at this point. There are lots of times when it does, but against blue-white humans with 2 cards in their hand, I don't think it's that big a deal. We're going to Necromantic Summon our Drowner, which should be enough to lock this game up, as it's a 7/7 and can tap down our opponent's threats if necessary. Would have loved to have milled some more threats into our graveyard so that we could have played Ever After when we get a 6th mana, which we have with one of these Scions if we'd like. Would have allowed us to end the game that much faster, which is something we really want to do. The longer that we go on, the greater the chance that our opponent will draw out of the situation they're in right now. Kalitas is a great draw, and I would like to cast it using a Scion and leaving 2 black up. That way, we can also play our Sinister Concoction here. And cancel for now. We're going to go ahead and attack. See if our opponent chooses to block. Probably not, because if they do, we're going to kill all of their creatures and lose none of ours. Always good to give your opponent the opportunity to mess up, though. Then we are going to go ahead and kill this militia captain. Unfortunately, we have to discard that, but that's just the way it is. Finally milled another creature into the graveyard as we lost our reanimation spell, but them's the breaks. We're still in great shape now. Alright. Got a Consul's Lieutenant from the opponent there. So they've got 2 first strikers on the board, which could be, potentially problematic. I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. So, we're going to get 4 damage through for sure. And then we have 4 other attackers, so we're going to kill the opponent. No matter what they do, they cannot survive this turn, as they have no cards in hand and a finite number of blockers. Alright. That's fine. And that's fine too, you're still dead. And I know you're going to kill my Kalitas, I do not mind. good game. See you guys in the next one. Okay, again, we have a good hand off the bat. We will keep it. We've got early removal. We've got card draw. We've got Kalitas. We are in pretty good shape overall. So I suppose we'll go ahead and lead off with the Evolving Wilds. We want to get an island because we already have enough black sources here. Would be a shame to not get to 2 blue so that if we draw a counterspell, we can cast it. And it looks like our opponent is stuck on 1 mana. Unless I'm mistaken, did we go first? We might have gone first. Or maybe not. Okay then. Let's see. I suppose we'll go ahead and try to get this game over with as quickly as possible. Play the mana producing land instead of the Evolving Wild so that we can cast Catalog. Oh, there's a second land for the opponent. And we'll go ahead and Catalog in response to Jace so that we don't have to pause at the end of the turn here. And I suppose we will discard Kalitas and... oh, that's right, 1 discard. Never mind. Being silly there. We will definitely be dealing with that creature. I suppose we'll go ahead and get another island. And then play a dead weight on Jace here. Try to stop the opponent from drawing out of the poor mana situation that they're in. Looks like they continue to top deck lands though, so maybe this will be a decent game after all. There's another Catalog. Well, we'll just go ahead and pass the turn. Not really much we could do with 2 mana after casting Catalog, so no use in doing it as a sorcery. Go ahead and Catalog end of turn here. Looks like they are on Esper control. Oh, nice. Another creature. We will be discarding that creature. And we have Spell Mastery, but we also have 6 lands. They could be running counterspells here, but I think that we have enough things to cast in our hand that it's okay to try to burn through them if they are. I'm going to try to ever after both of these back. And they are indeed running counterspells and having 1 in hand. So next turn, we will most likely try to Necromantic Summons Alhammarret. Continue to make land drops here. Go ahead and... no, I don't want Jace, thank you very much. I want Alhammarret, if I can... nope, another Broken Concentration. We'll go ahead and play Sinister Concoction as well. Now that we've been countered twice, we may want to hold off just a little bit. Wait for the opponent to do something. It would be a shame to get our 3rd reanimation spell countered. In fact, I might have been hasty going for it anyway. And I was trying to take advantage of their poor draw. Alrighty. Well, now we have a counterspell of our own and enough mana to both reanimate and play the counterspell, so we'll do that. Again, I do not want Jace, thank you though. Take Alhammarret. And they do have another counterspell. Well, we have one of our own this time. Hopefully Alhammarret can call something from their hand that is going to make a difference for us. Alright, well they're 1-off casting Jace. Jace would be a problem. Double Grasp of Darkness would be a problem as well, though. They got Catalog. They may be on some type of reanimation strategy as well, running Catalog there. So I pretty much have to call either Jace or Grasp. Well, they can already cast the Grasp, so I think I'm going to call that. And I think their land, well, they're still just one off of double grasping, killing my Alhammarret still, but let's not give them the opportunity if we can help it. We have Delirium already, great. Go ahead and attack. And unless they top-decked another counterspell, they don't have one in hand. So we will try to get this clock going. What did we mill? A Guardian of Tazeem and a Jace. Alright. Pass back. Now that we have two threats, them casting a Jace isn't too big a deal. I do not want that to resolve. I want my Guardian to not be exiled, so I will be Sinister Concoctioning my own creature here. And that put a Drowner into the yard, which is good. And there is Ulamog. We are still a couple of lands shy of actually casting Ulamog. We could get a discard outlet and a reanimation spell, which would make it possible. If our opponent draws another black source, they could just double grasp our Mindwrack Demon too. Doesn't seem to be happening though. Discarding Jace, well that's good. And there is Ever After. And again, they could have drawn another counterspell, so I'm just going to be happy with swinging for 4 at the moment. They've had a few draws since we looked at their hand. They could very well have something. Oh, there's Hydrolash, so I guess we are going to be casting Ever After since they were so kind as to tap down in order to not take damage and draw a card. So, I do think Hydrolash draws a card. Yes, it draws a card. Okay, let's Ever After. And we will bring back Alhammarret and Drowner. Okay, what do we not want them casting? Probably still just Grasp of Darkness. The only thing Languish actually kills is our Scions. So, yeah, don't cast Grasp of Darkness, please. Not really concerned about the catalog either, as they won't have enough mana to deal with anything after casting it at this point, and we're going to be killing them next turn. Alright. And we will just untap and swing for the win. Another reanimation spell. I will see you guys in the next game. No. Yes. Would like to have some removal, but this will be fine to start off with. Hopefully we just won't get swarmed by small one-drop humans. Playing this game a little bit later than the other couple of games that you've seen so far, as Lawnmowers Gone Wild was apparently taking place in my general vicinity for quite a while. There are still some kids outside on summer break having fun, so you may hear a little bit of that coming through. The noise gate will hopefully take care of most of it, but just so that you know what's going on. Hopefully it will not be too distracting if it does in fact come through. Well, let's go ahead and play our island and pass. We'll hold up Counterspell here, Scatter to the Winds, and if we don't end up playing that, we'll go ahead and catalog trying to make sure we hit our land drops here. And we'll take 2 for sure. Shambling Ghoul there, enters the battlefield tapped. Oops, I missed my pause there, too busy reading the Shambling Ghoul. Well, that's fine for the moment. I don't want to play Mindwrack Demon quite yet. Hopefully I will be quicker on the response time at the end of the opponent's turn What is this? Undead Servant. When it enters the battlefield, for each card... Oh, that's fine. I'm going to let that resolve, and then I'm going to catalog and then languish on our next turn. Looks like we're playing against a zombie deck here. That's something that is not often seen, at least by me on here. So I find it rather interesting. Pause this time. We'll catalog. Alright, good draws. And I think I want to discard the Drowner. We can cast Mindwrack Demon just fine. Breaker of Armies too. Cool. Need to get that into the yard, but for now, let's languish. That gives us 3 card types in the yard. We've got Sorcery, Instant, and Creature. So hopefully, if we cast Mindwrack here, it will mill an enchantment or a land for us. Or a Planeswalker. Jace is in there if it comes to that. Oh, that is a good recovery from Languish, where this puts a 2/2 out for every other Undead Servant in the graveyard. That's cool. Well, let's go ahead and try Mindwrack Demon. It should be able to hit a land in 4 cards, but there's always the chance that it won't. And it did. Got Gilt-Leaf Winnower as well. Cool. So if we draw an Ever After here, which we need 1 more land to cast it, we have 2 targets in the yard. Corpse Trawler. When it enters the battlefield, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. Cool. And then it can give target zombie death touch. Nice. I think we're going to be languishing again, though. Nice drawing Grasp as well. Let's go ahead and swing before we languish, otherwise we'll have a 0 power Mindwrack Demon to attack with. And languish. Hopefully the opponent doesn't have a Grasp in hand as well and finish off our Mindwrack Demon. And they don't. Cool. Stitched Mangler. Is that a bounce? Is that the bouncy dude? It is. And Merciless Resolve. Oh, so they can sack it and draw 2 cards. Okay, cool. Sacrifice a land? Was it? I thought it was sacrifice... Oh, a creature or land. Okay, that's cool. And this... No, it's not bounce. It's tap down. Okay, that's fine. Alrighty, now all we need is the Ever After, but for now we have Kothophed, so we'll play Kothophed. And we're in pretty good shape here. Got a 4/5 flying trampler and a 6/6 flyer that's going to draw us cards if our opponent's stuff dies. Well, we're going to continue playing. It still is a bit early into the game, though we are at a pretty good advantage here. What are you going to get back with this scab? Okay. I'm going to be drawing some more cards, it looks like, which will allow us to draw cards too, since they'll be sacrificing a permanent to do so. I think what we want to do is swing with Kothophed, leaving back the Mindwrack Demon. The reason I want to leave the demon back is that I would like to play Ob Nixilis. I could just grasp and leave up scatter, but I want to try to get a little bit of an advantage. We're going to destroy this guy because this guy exiles, and I'm pretty sure it won't trigger Kothophed. I want to draw a card here. Alright, so we got our land drop. We can go ahead and grasp as well. Guess I should have done Ob Nixilis before attacking, then I could have gotten to swing with my Mindwrack Demon as well. Right. Looks like Alright, just another Stitched Mangler. Keep Kothophed from attacking. Alrighty. Well, let's see. We can Necromantic Summons something. We can get Gilt-Leaf Winnower. Or Drowner. Drowner sounds better. Let's draw a card first, though, shall we? Jace, cool. Don't think we're going to need Jace this game. Get a Swamp. Then we're going to Summons. None of those. I want Drowner. Could kill this thing with Winnower, but I'd rather have the power and toughness that Drowner brings to the table. We'll swing in. And we should have this next turn. I don't think there's very much that our opponent can do with the board state, such as it is. Ooh, Forgotten Creation. Be cool to see that go ahead and activate, but they're not going to have another upkeep if I have my say about it. And I normally wouldn't BM like this, but as they have already conceded and it's just the AI playing, I'm going to go ahead and just do the max damage. Kothophed would kill them on its own. Let's go ahead and bounce that thing. And we'll draw a card with Ob. Ooh, Ever After, cool. And then, well, we're going to attack with everything. And we're going to grasp that critter. And that will be it for this episode of Friday Night Magic. If you've enjoyed it, please leave a like below. It really does help. Consider subscribing to the channel so that you'll be notified when I upload new content. And until next time, friends, be excellent to each other.